iwradio.co.uk. Isle of Wight Radio.
Plug in this. So that's the electric bit.
And would you like to explain how that works?
Yeah. So this is the electric piece. This is where you can plug into the 13 amp socket at home. It's an ordinary plug. It takes about 2 hours to charge. As soon as it's charged, it switches off. So it's easy as anything. I plug it in when I get home. I drive all the way to work and back, and then plug it back in when I get home. And I'm managing to do home to work on a single charge every day.
Ready.
Okay, so if you look up on the screen, you'll see that the system's just firing up, and immediately you can see the battery, the electric motor and the ordinary engine, and they're showed on that screen. Just to make that a little bit clearer, what we're going to do is we're going to put this onto the screen here, and now you can see the battery, the electric motor and the ordinary engine. You can also see two separate drive systems to the wheels. It's going to make a bit of a racket now. We're going to go into reverse. Okay, brake off.
Eerily quiet, isn't it?
Yeah. Apart from the beeping, which is not as quiet at all, but when we pull off this time, you'll hear that. Okay, so into drive, and now you will find that the electric motor will engage. It's currently giving us a range of about 6 miles, so that's showing you exactly how far you can go on pure EV. And you can see at the moment the battery is driving the electric motor only. Now if I maintained a steady acceleration, that would actually take you right up to 60 miles an hour before you had any engine kicking in at all. If you put the heating on, or you put on lights or any kind of other heavy electrical load, you may well find that that then starts to kick in the electric motor.
Right.
And obviously if you run out of battery, then it will go over to the electric to the main engine almost immediately. I'll just put a little bit more power on now, and you'll find that the electric motor won't be quite enough to take it up. And now you see the red has come on. That's red for bad, red for petrol. Now you see a very interesting thing where the petrol's actually now used to generate electricity into the battery via that electric motor. So there you are, the engine is back on again now, but you're still getting drive out of the electric motor. Now you've got both. So it's a very clever technology. It's constantly assessing the loads on the car, and it's interrelating between the engine and the electric motor, getting the maximum out of the engine. Long and the short of it is, if you drive this very economically, you can get up to 130 miles to the gallon. Which obviously, with the tank prices at the moment of anything up to £7 a gallon, as Paul was saying, makes this a very economical car to drive.
See, is it quite difficult to get used to sort of all the dials and things in front of you at first? Because I've got to admit, it's quite nice here that it looks fairly self-explanatory, but obviously further up it can get quite in depth. And I suppose, do you get quite into how much you can save? If I drive like this, can I cut that and things like that?
Well, it does show you how many miles per gallon you're using at any one time. It also gives you a range estimate, and you can see that drop if you drive uneconomically. I have to say that if you ignore all the dials, put some music on, you cannot tell, in that it's absolutely seamless. It sounds and feels exactly like an ordinary car, and there's nothing really in its mechanism that is complicated in any way at all.
Right.
It does all the thinking for you. In fact, it's the smartest car they say they've ever created. Now, one little top tip, this is a little secret. This is something that isn't in the manual, but is something that Toyota have spent an enormous amount of time engineering. What you'll now see, if I come up behind this white car up ahead and I start braking, what you'll find is that the energy in the car, and you just have to look at this now, you see the energy in the car is now being put through the brakes into the battery, and that is part of the regenerative braking solution that they've engineered into the car. So instead of having very heavy calipers operating at that kind of level, what you've got is a system of regenerative braking that takes a lot of the energy from the momentum of the car and puts that back into the battery. There's even a separate little button here called B that enables you to put a lot of that energy back into the battery if you're going down a hill. So if you're going down a hill and you want to send a lot of that energy through into the battery, you simply engage B, and then that'll force all that energy of that kinetic energy back into the battery. So it really is the cleverest car I think Toyota have ever produced, and they've sold a few of these already through Wight Motors as a result of people coming and having a trial or a demonstration in this one.
I mean, if people were considering getting a car such as this, what would it set them back? Because I know they can be. I mean, what you make up for later on, I suppose it is worth it. But how much would this particular model set you back?
Well, the cheapest electric vehicle that we have is around £17,000. Obviously, they will get cheaper as the battery prices come down.
Yes.
This vehicle obviously is a lot more money than that, and I have to say that on a commercial basis, you wouldn't be only justifying this out of savings on your fuel bills at this time. However, it does recover its cost quite quickly, and you definitely are in the position of making yourself feel better. You're doing better for the planet, and as fuel prices escalate, the value of this can only get better.
Well, yes, yeah. Excellent. Do you feel like you're driving a spaceship?
Well, it's quiet enough. It looks like the Star Trek Enterprise, doesn't it? With all the lights and the buttons and everything else. But it's actually very, very easy to drive and very, very comfortable.
Well, hopefully, the people who watch this video, hopefully the sound's good enough. You can hear that. It's completely quiet, which is, I've got to admit, quite surreal, David.
Yeah. There's one little trick I found, that if you're reversing in a car park, I tend to go beep, 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 so that people get very aware that you're there. And that's not really a problem. You just obviously drive with increased awareness, but it's very important to realise it's one of the great assets of driving an electric vehicle. It's so quiet.
Thank you very much, David. Cheers.